Shaw,
Present.
Commissioner Helens,
Here.
Commissioner Kirkham,
Here.
Commissioner Morris, Chairman Hassett,
Here.
Vice Chair Gillette,
Here.
Commissioner Patillo,
Here.
Commissioner Martin,
Here.
Commissioner Rugi. So Commissioner Rugi is joined via Teams. We have a quorum.
Automated announcements.
Anyone who has not signed in, please do so at the table located in the lobby. Should anyone wish to speak, please complete a request to speak form, which is also located on the lobby table next to the sign-in sheet. A request to speak form must be completed for each item you would like to speak on. Please note, there are stairs on the right, left, and center aisles, and we ask that you use caution when using the stairs. There is also a ramp located to the audience's left. If anyone has written comments, exhibits, petitions, photos, or letters they intend to present at today's meeting, have 17 copies and give them to a staff member at the back of the auditorium. Staff member, please hold up your hand for the audience. If you do not have 17 copies, you may use the overhead camera to present your documents. Please place your documents on the podium and line it up with the arrows indicated. If you want your documentation to go on record, you must hand them to the clerk after your presentation with the agenda item number clearly marked on the documentation. Members of the public cannot speak to staff members that are seated at the tables with microphones during the meeting. If you have questions, please see the staff member located in the back of the auditorium. All speakers will be limited to 2 minutes to make their presentation statements. Everyone, please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate during the meeting. If you must take a call, please leave the meeting area and go outside to have your conversation. We also ask the audience to refrain from talking with one another during the presentations and discussions. Today, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hear public testimony and then forward a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. Everyone attending the meeting is asked to remember that the administrative building and campus are tobacco-free areas, which means no smoking is allowed from curb to curb. No food or drinks are allowed in the auditorium except for bottled water. If there are any items remaining on the agenda, the Commission will break for lunch for 1 hour per the Chairman's discretion.
Items with the recommendation made by the Commission will be heard by the Board of Supervisors on Monday, October 6th at 9:30 a.m. in this same location with the exception of any continued items. I'd like to get an approval of the August 13th meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, item carries. Item 1, Matthew Gunderson.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before we get started for item number 1, I just wanted to quickly kind of go over what we're trying to accomplish here today. So all the items on the agenda are presentations for presentation and discussion to go over each of the community meetings that were held during this general plan update process and allow for that discussion and any public comment for any of those meetings that may have been improperly noticed. And so we'll go through each one, but it's not something where we're doing formal votes on each of these items. It's for presentation and discussion with the Commission and with the public. So with that, item number 1 is the Colorado City area. With the comments that we received as we went through that process, largely they were based on parcel size. The general consensus was to keep parcels 1 acre in size. There was some that expressed concern with multiple RVs on a single parcel, which is a code enforcement issue. And then there was a lot of focus on residential. They didn't like light industrial, and they were generally in favor of commercial development along Highway 389. And then there was also lots of comments on the need for additional county services, local services, parks and recreation opportunities, libraries, additional road maintenance, and things like that. So currently, the area outside of Colorado City, so the Centennial Park and the Cane Beds areas, are considered outlying communities. This means that the general plan has them listed as rural development areas, even though there are parts, especially in the Centennial Park area, there's commercial development within Centennial Park. But because it has that outlying community status, as long as development continues to develop the same way that it has been developing, they would be able to continue to do that in those outlying communities and without having to go through the plan amendment process. So in talking with the community and with staff, the suggestion was to continue to keep that as an outlying community, leave it as a rural development area within that outlying community, and allow that development that's been happening to continue kind of down that same path that it's been on. So here we have some maps with the existing Centennial Park area. That tealish blue color is that rural development area, and we would plan on keeping that the same. And that is the conclusion for item number 1.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Item number 2. Nope. Correct? Okay.
Just to clarify, there's nobody signed up to speak on item number 1?
Mr. Chair, just to make sure we thoroughly go through each one of these items, does anybody on the commission have any comments that they would like to present to staff on?
You still want the public hearing opened, even though there's...
No, it doesn't need to be open. It'd just be any comments. So this is for staff to be able to receive direction, and then we'll bring it back to our next meeting with any comments that the commissioners might have.
Perfect. My apologies. So going back to item number 1, do any commissioners have comments or questions for staff regarding item 1? I don't know if Commissioner Ruge is unmuted or not.
He's got no questions.
No questions? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to move on to item 2. Matthew.
All right, item number 2, also up in this strip is going to be the Beaver Dam, Scenic, and Littlefield areas. So here, some of the things that we noticed, there's a light industrial designations along County Highway 91, as well as low, medium, and high-density residential areas that are north of Highway 91. A lot of this property is BLM, Bureau of Land Management property, a little bit of Arizona State Trust land. A lot of it doesn't have legal or physical access to it. And then there's also commercial and light industrial along Arvada Road, commercial property along Frenner Road that has not developed in that way. This area, especially the scenic area, was part of an area plan. And so there's a lot of designations for a lot higher density than currently exists out there. But as we went through this process, the general consensus, again, was for those 1-acre lots to remain, which is also the development that we've seen. There's one subdivision that exists in the scenic area that has lots that are less than 1 acre. Everything else is 1-acre lots or larger. So as staff went through this, the proposal was to amend the area south of I-15 and Highway 91 that's currently zoned light industrial to a suburban development area, which matches the existing agricultural residential zoning, as well as the development that we've seen out there. And then we went through a lot of the vacant land with like designations such as public facilities and changed those to a suburban development area as well. And then the area north of I-15 in that area that doesn't have legal or physical access off of the interstate to a rural development area. Any access to this would have to go through Mesquite, Nevada, and existing residential subdivisions to get out there. Or a new interchange would have to be built. Staff proposes to amend the areas that are either industrial, commercial, or public facilities along Arvada Road and Frenner Road, or south of Elbow Canyon Road, again to that suburban development area. And that was really the main theme throughout this, is those higher density designations that existed out there, but all had the agricultural residential zoning, which has a 1-acre minimum lot size, to change those to that suburban development area to fit the existing zoning and the development that we've seen. So this is what the 2015 general plan has. Again, the bluish green teal color is rural development area, which is 5-acre properties or larger. The yellow color is low-density residential, which is an urban development area designation. So those are lots that are going to be less than 1 acre, down to like the 8,000, 6,000 square foot minimum lot size, which is a lot of what scenic is, but not what actually exists out there. And then you can see the other colors. The blues and purples and reds are those commercial, industrial, and public facilities designations that we were looking to change to suburban development area. And then we did leave some of the commercial designations along Scenic Boulevard, because as this area continues to grow, that's where we'd like to see that commercial development is along the main arterial there on Scenic Boulevard. So this is the proposal. So we have most of it turned to this green color, which is our suburban development area. And then we have that red and pink are those commercial designations that are along Scenic Boulevard that we're looking at there. And then as we go over to Beaver Dam and Littlefield, again, keeping the commercial areas along I-15 and along County Highway 91. There were 2 really large parcels that had a public facilities land use designation, but again, an agricultural residential zoning. And it used to be that if you're going to put in some sort of public utility, whether that was an electrical substation or a water treatment facility for like a neighborhood, a subdivision, you used to have to get manufacturing zoning in order to do that. The zoning ordinance has been amended since 2015, or since this general plan, those designations were adopted. And now you can do that with any zoning designation with a special use permit. And so it didn't make sense to keep those really large parcels with those designations with the agricultural residential zoning. And no current plans from utility providers to put public facilities on those properties. And then we also received comments this is Beaver Dam. This is kind of the west side of Beaver Dam. There's an area that is currently it's all owned by a single owner. They're looking to develop it. They're working with the water company out there and electric providers out there to kind of come up with this master plan, and they're designing it based on the current general plan designations that are out there. And so given those and the fact that they're working on that, staff's not proposing any changes for this specific area. So this is the Beaver Dam and Littlefield areas as they were in the 2015 general plan. Again, you see a lot of that red along I-15 and County Highway 91 as it goes north up through Beaver Dam. And then again, a lot of that yellow low-density residential, the orange medium-density residential in areas that are largely 1-acre lots and a lot of rural vacant land. And so this is the proposed changes here, keeping the commercial along the interstate. We do continue to see properties rezoned along the interstate and especially Highway 91 south of I-15 from their AR zoning to commercial zoning with commercial proposed development. So we left that area along those corridors and then changed this area in Littlefield kind of going to the east towards the gorge to that suburban development area. This area, the area that's north, I don't know if you can see my cursor up there, kind of north there, that's the Virgin Acres area. Those are 6,000 square foot lots, 6,000 to 8,000 square foot lots in that area up there. So we left that as that low density residential. And then the last portion that we talked about is the which I think we talked to with the commission as a whole, is this area that is on the east side of the gorge there on your way through the strip before you cross over into Utah into St. George. This is an area just south of St. George where we're proposing an urban development area to allow for potential future development. This land is all zoned by either Arizona State Trust Land or the Bureau of Land Management. but there are existing residential subdivisions on the Utah side where their backyards are up against the state line. So if there were to be, and there's existing exits off of the freeway that runs along the very south of St. George there that have exits that could provide access to this area that's just undeveloped at this time. So for potential future development, we turned this area into an urban development area. And then the light blue color you see on there those are existing mines. So we turned proposing to change those to heavy industrial, just because we're aware that there is mining in this area, and would want to keep that type of heavy use and intense use in those areas. And that is the end of our presentation for item number 2.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from commissioners for item number 2? Go ahead.
Appreciate that presentation. So on that overall, that master plan development, it did not come in the master plan or the general plan overlook. Would you expect them to have to come in and do a general plan amendment to bring that forward?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Bradshaw, so in talking with the developer and actually talking with the water authority, the president of the water company out there, who has been working with them on this development. The intention is to match the proposed development with the existing general plan designations. If they do that, they would not need to come in and amend the general plan. If they make changes, whether, phase 1 or down the road, to change that a little bit, then they would have to come in and amend the general plan. They would also need to come through the process to rezone the property. I think that currently all of this property is zoned, or the vast majority of it anyway, is zoned with a 36-acre minimum lot size. So any commercial development or higher density development would still need to go through the rezone process and the subdivision process and all of that. So there would be the public processes, but if they're able to kind of cater it to the existing designations, they may not need a general plan amendment.
Great, thank you. That's helpful.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Yeah, I just had a question on the St. George special planning area. Any particular reason you chose that size? Might it be better if we just made it entire townships?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Patillo, it could certainly be expanded if people would want to see it expanded. I think the general idea was looking for places that would have that existing access. We kept it mostly to section lines, not so much township ranges. And we took it to the very south end of where the Arizona State Trust land is. Typically, it's easier to work where state trust land becomes private property a lot more often than Bureau of Land Management property does.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners regarding item 2? Thank you very much. Item 3, Matthew.
Mr. Chair, did you want to open it up to the public as well for item number 2?
No one has signed up to speak on it, but if you'd like me to, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, just to ask if anybody's in the audience to
I would be happy to. Item number 2, opening the public hearing. Is there any members of the general public that would like to speak on item 2 that did not sign up? You know the drill.
Jennifer Esposito, Kingman. I think that it's a good idea to put this development up on the Colorado Strip. I think that it benefits the county. Somebody was obviously thinking ahead. There's some, infrastructure in place, meaning the freeway off-ramps and possibly a natural gas pipeline that already runs through there. So I think that the benefit to the county of this particular development in increasing property taxes and doing something up there where people want it, instead of in places where people don't want it, is a good idea. So I support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on item number 2? Okay, closing the public hearing. Item 3, Matthew.
Item number 3 is going to be our Lake Havasu City and Topak areas. We did not receive a lot of comments for this area, largely because most of this area is already developed. Most of the privately owned property is currently developed. There were some comments that we received about the airport area in the Lake Havasu City. The airport is within the city of Lake Havasu City, and so it's kind of beyond our scope of the county planning and zoning. And then there was also a discussion at the community meeting for the need for industrial development in the area for continued economic development. Kind of talking about some of the state and publicly owned property around Lake Havasu City. But because there's already some existing industrial land use designations on some of that publicly owned property, and because there's not a lot of privately owned property that's undeveloped, staff wasn't proposing any changes at this time. But here you can kind of see the land that we have. That light blue color is that industrial designation, kind of on the north end of the city there. Most of that is, I believe, state-owned land. But then the rest of that area is largely developed. You can get a little bit closer look on that area. So we have commercial along, this is Highway 95 and along London Bridge Road. And then the rest of it is your low-density residential subdivision developments. And then we have, over here, this is the little carve out on the east side of Lake Havasu City. That's the Donkey Acres area. This is moving north up Highway 95 to the I-40 interchange. We have a lot of existing commercial development up there. A lot of commercial zoning already exists, even on the undeveloped parcels, as well as some light industrial. This area slowly continues to grow. I think a lot of the existing development out there is starting to remodel and expand a little bit, and then leaving that light industrial area a little bit to the east there. And then here we have Havasu Heights. Here we have this red color over here on the west is the Riverbound Storage development, if you're familiar with that. And then coming through, we have this yellow and striped area. Those are two subdivisions that are currently going through the process. Both of them have approved preliminary plats. The solid kind of gold color is the DL Ranch subdivision. They are finishing up some of their ADEQ approvals before they can finalize their first phase of their final plat. The other, that striped area is the DL Ranch subdivision. Those are going to be 1 acre lots. And they just recently got their final plat for their first phase approved and are looking to start the process of actually moving dirt and building out there. So no proposed changes in this area either. And then here we have Topok Golden Shores. This blue color is the Sterling Solar project. They have the zoning for their solar development out there. Staff has not seen a site plan yet, but that zoning has vested as they've gone through some of those approval processes with state and federal agencies. So no proposed change there. You also see that industrial designation continues kind of north of I-40 and south of the train tracks. And then Topok Golden Shores, that is another area that is an outlying community. So even though those lots are smaller, they have that rural designation. Staff's not looking to take that out of that outlying community designation at this time. And that concludes the presentation for item number 3.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing. Is there any members of the public that would like to speak on item 3? Seeing none, closing the public hearing. Are there any commissioners' comments or questions on item 3 for staff? Hearing none, I will move on to item 4. Matthew.
All right, item number 4 is the Golden Valley area. So largely suburban and rural development area already. Most of the commercial and urban development areas are along Highway 68. The notable exceptions are the Dorado area that's been discussed already, as well as the Pravada development, which is, I apologize, they're looking to change the name as they're going through the actual subdivision process now. But that area down off of Shinarump, which is under their that Pravada development agreement. So I'll kind of get to the maps here. So there's a lot of urban along Highway 68. A lot of the comments that we got during this area was 1 acre lots are larger throughout all of Golden Valley. We did receive some comments that were more along the lines of if there needs to be commercial development or higher density, it should be along Highway 68. And so in looking at those comments and what was existing out there, staff was looking at a lot of the zoning along Highway 68. And we took out a lot of that urban development area, which extends, you can kind of see it's basically one section there along Highway 68. So from the north end, north of 68 to the south end, south of 68 there is about a mile wide. And we looked at the zoning. So all of the vacant properties that had agricultural residential zoning, we changed those to suburban development areas, which is that green color. And then all of the ones that had existing commercial zoning, we left as commercial, or I think there's a handful of commercial designations in those urban development areas that we left as urban. But the vacant property, even along 68, we changed to that green suburban development area. So this was the original staff proposal. Again, I think you can see my cursor there. So this section here, this is that Dorado area. The initial staff proposal based off of the comments that were received were to change that whole area to a suburban development area. Again, you can see the red and the gray color along 68. That's the commercial and urban areas that we left because it has the existing zoning to develop that way. And then we left the Pravada area as is because of that existing development agreement. As we were going through the process, we received this alternative proposal from Engel Homes for that Dorado area. I apologize, I should have put the initial one in there. We go back here. It's not very zoomed in, so it's kind of hard to see. Most of this area here is this yellow color up here is that low density residential. So that's going to go down to your 6,000 square foot lots. There were pockets kind of in the middle of medium density residential. And then there were a couple commercial areas kind of in the corners along the section line roads. That's what was currently existing in the 2015 general plan. And so this was an alternative proposal that staff received, which shows a suburban residential buffer along the perimeter there of the development. It does leave the commercial development in the corners there along those section line roads. It got rid of the medium density residential, and then these areas kind of adjacent to the washes that are this hatched pattern here. Those are proposed as public parks. So as staff took this back to the subcommittee, the consensus there was to change it to the recommendation or to the proposal by Engel Homes. So staff changed it. So this is currently what was sent or proposed to the commission when it was originally brought through, as well as sent to the board. The first time it was sent to the board with that, the medium density area removed, the green areas, those parks, and then a suburban residential kind of perimeter there around the rest of it. And so that is the proposal there for item number 4.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, can I have the following 5 people please come to the front? Travin Pennington, Jennifer Clark, George Loya, Sheila Randall, and Tyler Engel. We'll start with you, Travin. You can go straight to the podium.
Chairperson and commissioners, appreciate the time to speak on this. You guys been here as long as we have in this process. This general plan update is we were denied our rezone probably about 1.5 years ago, and it was suggested that we need to participate in the public process in order to the general plan update, and we've done that. We've showed up at every meeting. As Matt just mentioned, part of our proposal was to take that medium density out, and then we also decided that it would be best to be able to integrate with the neighbors and the existing zoning and the houses that are out there to take a 1 acre buffer around the perimeter of that subdivision. On the east side of that subdivision, we didn't run that perimeter because that's vacant land, large parcels, vacant lands. So just for explanation, the reason that 1 acre buffer does not run down the east side of our project is because those are large parcels on the other side. Our intention is we want to go out there and build a high quality subdivision and be able to deliver high quality subdivision. Probably going to take us, if we're successful, 20, 30 years into the future is probably an approximate build out time. We've reserved, we've worked with the fire department. They had a request for a spot for a future fire station. We've tried to integrate that into design and be able to reserve that. Also, we've offered to, maybe there's a need for a future sheriff station out there, and so we've set aside a total of 10 acres, 5 acres each in the future of this design. So, available for questions, but thank you for the opportunity to explain.
Thank you very much. Tyler Engel.
Tyler Engel, 2800 Walpin Mountain Road. Thank you, Commission. Won't take up too much of your time. I know you've heard our spiel before, but just wanted to plug again that we do support the current proposed general plan. We support affordable housing. We champion engineered subdivisions, improved paved roads, bridges over washes, and managing and fully engineering flood control so that when residents into the future buy a home in the area, they can go to work when it's raining and not worry about a muddy road. They can go to work when it's raining and not worry about the wash sweeping their car away. We want to build fully engineered, approved subdivisions that are affordable for the people in the area to buy, and we appreciate your support. Thanks.
Thank you. Jennifer Clark.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Clark. I live at 4373 North Canella Road. This proposal shows from West Zuni and North Estrella. That's my front door. I have lived there for 5 years. I have went through some pretty major monsoons. My house has been there since 1979. I can just see when they redirect these washes while they're building, if it wipes out my home and the people around me. I don't support 4 and 5 homes on an acre. I don't support this in my front yard. I don't care about paved roads. I don't care about putting all these people in there. Do you understand? The 68 is a death zone anyways. Do you imagine putting 4,000 homes times the people that live there and make that into a big highway? We already have enough. I work in the medical field. I've been at North Country Healthcare for 5 years. When I started there was 2 PRRs, which is public relations, where I make your appointments and I get you in and all this. Now there are 10 of us. Now there are 8 providers, and we cannot keep up. Our patients are waiting 3 months to be seen because every day, I moved from California, can you get me in? No. I moved from Wisconsin, can you get me in? I can't do it. Our providers are overworked. We're seeing 20 to 25 patients per provider a day. And that's not counting telehealth and everything else. Okay. Like I said, I had some major health issues. I had to be taken to Phoenix for a heart operation because we do not have the medical care to support it. The only thing I can say is I had breast cancer. We have an excellent cancer center. I'll give you that. But we, on more occasions, I have to tell patients that we don't have places to refer them to in Bullhead, Lake Havasu, and here.
Thank you very much. George Loya.
Sorry about that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
George Loya, Golden Valley, Arizona. We have already approved 2 developments in our area, and it's over 600 homes that are going to be developed there already. I don't see a need for us to develop this Engel home at this time. Let's see what happens with the development we have already going on there. This is a community that has 1 acre lots all the way around it, and that's what we would like to see continue. If he wants to build 1 acre lots, one acre homes, beautiful. welcome to the community. But as a whole, our community likes 1 acres. And as far as commercial, we like to see it over on 68, not in our neighborhood. I would like to see us receive notices of any more developments in our neighborhood. I live 300 feet away from where he's talking about doing. I live right across the street from it. And we didn't get a notice last time you guys did this. And there was no notices set out on the property. And I don't think that's fair. Are you guys working for us, or are you guys working for Engel Homes? Thank you.
We are appointed volunteers, actually, for clarification purposes. Sheila Randall?
Good morning. My name is Sheila Randall. My husband and I own property at 3933 Teddy Roosevelt in Golden Valley. We are within the 300 square feet. We were very picky 5 years ago when we bought this property. We loved the area. The fact that it was on a paved road and the view is what made our decision to buy it. We are retiring, and it has been our dream. This is a quiet neighborhood, which is why we picked it. We live in a suburban area right now, and we'll be moving into our royal home at the end of this month. We received a letter about February 4 and have a lot of concerns. Our property is about 1/8 of a mile from West Agua Ferra. The subdivision will really impact our lives with overwhelming traffic noise and busy streets. With any new developments, new and existing roads must be built and maintained. Teddy and Estrella are the only paved roads and don't need much maintenance because there's relatively little traffic. These roads will have a lot more traffic, including big rigs, supplying to the commercial areas. This will cause a lot of damage for the roads. We are worried about road construction and maintenance, water availability, sewer treatments, school availability, police and fire protection. We purchased our water allotment from GVID for $6,250 and had to pay another $1,625 for the hookups. We understand there's only about 400 allotments left. Where will their water come from? How will the influx of new students affect the K through 12 grade schools? Do you have plans to build new schools, and how will they be paid for? Many residents moved to Golden Valley to enjoy the rural way of life. We are one of them. If we wanted to live in a suburban home, we would have bought a home in Kingman. I request you get answers from the developer addressing these concerns before approving this section of this general plan.
Thank you very much. May I have the following individuals to the front 5 seats? Elizabeth Miller, Gordon Morris, Isabel Fadia, my apologies, Neil Groover, and Brian Burke. And then I just need to see a hand from Daniel Nagy. Thank you very much. While you're joining those seats, could the staff please speak to the statement that was made regarding they were given no notice and they've received nothing, and to the, just very briefly, to the procedures that are in place for when something like this occurs?
Chairman Hassett, so I'm not sure which part they were referring to, if that was for the initial rezone that Engel Homes presented, or if it's been through this general plan update process. Through the general plan update process, we've been posting times of meetings and locations on the county's website, posting agendas, things like that. This meeting is to give the public the opportunity to speak for any meetings that were missed. So hopefully, if that was the case for this gentleman, that this is the ability to rectify that situation.
And assuming they're speaking to the original rezoning, the process would have been signs posted on X locations throughout the property, as well as mailed to the residents within X feet?
Correct. So for items that are coming through for a rezone or a general plan amendment or a special use permit that the commission typically sees at our regular planning and zoning commission meetings, letters are sent to all property owners within 300 feet. We use the addresses that are on file with the county assessor's office. for those letters, the state statute that directs that. And yeah, we post signs on the property with the date and time of the meeting, and we post those agendas in the newspaper and on the county's website. You can also find physical copies of those agendas at the Development Services Building and here at the Administration
And
Building.
the letters originate from your department?
Correct. So the applicants are required to provide the letters in stamped and addressed envelopes, but staff is the one that we look through. We add a slip of paper that gives them the date and time of the meeting, and we're the ones that send it out.
And the signs that are posted on the piece of wood and stapled or photographed and also entered into the agenda book for reference?
Correct. Yeah, those are placed by staff.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We'll start with Brian Burke. Mr. Burke, you have 4 minutes, thanks to Daniel.
Good afternoon. I just have 4 minutes. I'll just show you. This is a
Can I get your name and address for the record, please,
yes,
sir?
Brian Burke, 3580 North Mobile.
Thank you very much. If you want to set that down right in front of you, it'll go on the camera on the TVs.
This is 3 homes, angle built, and the neighbors had to clean up the flooding mess just the other day. Okay, let me get started here. I'm doing basically, I'll start with unfunded capital expenditures. Expenditures such as new schools, fire departments, sheriff coverage, public works, and improvements to the existing roads in Golden Valley will be a burden on existing taxpayer. They're only donating, Angle Homes is only donating the land. Significant fiscal deficit. We've got a report that you can go onto the Facebook Golden Valley Alliance page and read those projections, and also onto a website, goldenvalleysolutions.org. Angle Homes Development's projected to yield $6.7 million in annual property tax revenue. It's insufficient to cover what's estimated to be a $14 million per year operational cost for these essential services. And it creates a deficit per year of $7.2 million according to our projections. Then I'll move on to the water supply concerns. Dorado development, as we know, it relies on unregulated Sacramento Valley groundwater basin water. They have the water pumped from all these aquifers in this area has exceeded the recharge rate since 2000. We don't have a lot of individual information on Sacramento, but and generally the wells, according to the charts I've seen, they're dropping year over year for about a foot per year. And also adequate water rules do not allow Angle Homes, do not require them to have to secure a water source if the aquifer becomes inadequate. They just have to notify the homeowners, which is kind of like what happened in Rio Verde, the foothills there, in 2023. And then recommendation for fiscal governments, essentially, full cost recovery is very important. To utilize a community facilities district to ensure new developments fund their own infrastructure, or a special taxing district. This protects existing taxpayers from the burden of subsidizing growth, which should be the responsibility of the developer and its community residents. Independent fiscal impact study. I recommend that you would mandate a third-party study for large developments over a certain threshold. Moving on to actionable. I'll move on since I only have 4 minutes. In closing, this is a pretty important point. The Katy Minor newspaper did an op-ed on August 8th, and it said Mojave County needs to hold meetings in Golden Valley after working hours, not during the workday like we were having here, because the people I talked to, I went all over the place, and they said, I can't go, I got a business, or I got to work. And so these residents do not have a voice in these proposed sweeping changes in Golden Valley. And that essentially is decisions made without the consent of the governed. So thank you for your attention, and hopefully we can work together to safeguard our community in the future.
Thank you very much. Can I ask a point of clarification, and don't forget your photo?
Thank you.
Does that photo is during construction, right? So no curb gutter, no water retention,
Correct.
no diversion of, okay.
But the neighbors, for like 2 days, I think they were out there. Nobody came from Angle Homes to do anything. It was just, that's a poor picture, I should have blown them up, but, yeah, if you zoom in on those, those poor neighbors there.
Thank you very much. Before the next individual, just a quick question for, I'm sorry, for staff. Just a quick, and it can be a yes or a no. Part of the development process, the developer is required to state or explain where they're going to get water from, right?
Chairman Hassett, that is correct, yes.
Thank you. Elizabeth Miller, please.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Miller, and I live on Mechanico Road in Golden Valley. I have grave concerns about the development between Teddy Roosevelt and Estrella. There will be a big impact to the area regarding utility infrastructure, law enforcement and fire safety, road construction, schools for new and current residents, among other concerns. Good question. Where will this development get water? As stated earlier, GVID has 400 allotments available for future residents. Will those allotments remain? Will they increase? Will they disappear? What about the people who want to move to Golden Valley that are not going to be in that development? How will sewage be taken care of? Will a water treatment plant be required? The Ship Estates development demonstrates a community septic system is problematic at best. How will safety and fire protection be addressed? Will a sheriff's substation be built and staffed? What about fire protection? Just last week, firemen were unable to get to a structure fire due to flooding. Roads are also a big concern, and many people have mentioned that. Can the current Black Mountain School accommodate a large increase in students? If not, will a new school be built? If so, how will it be financed? The above issues, if not covered all in part by the developer, could drastically increase the cost of living to the residents of Golden Valley. Many residents moved here to enjoy a rural way of life. The 1+ acre lots give residents some privacy and room to have a garden or a place for animals not usually allowed in a city environment. I request that you get answers to these concerns before approving this section of the Golden Plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Question for staff. In the development process, the developer is required to not only state where they're going to get the water and that they can adequately supply the water, but also what they're going to do with sewage, such as septic, sewage treatment facilities, etc.
Correct. So part of the process, they have to state where they're going to. Any subdivision with property sizes that are less than 1 acre in size are required to provide a centralized sewer system. The process requires that they submit letters from those utility providers stating that they can serve that proposed development. And then we also require letters from those utility providers stating that any required improvements have been made to their satisfaction before they can start building homes.
The reason for these individual questions is point of clarity for everyone, and I understand why you're concerned, but the process can't be completed without checking these boxes. It's not like Angle Homes can come in and put up 500 homes, then go, oh, forgot about the water. So that's a thing, and I just am trying to do this individually while also respecting everyone's time because we have a lot of people coming up. And next is Gordon Morris.
Good morning.
Morning.
Name's Gordon Morris. I'm on North Concho, Golden Valley. When I first came to Golden Valley, 1960, we bought land there. We checked in with the county. They told us that it's a checkerboard pattern. The alternate property was BLM, federally owned at that time. BLM, I don't think existed yet. And that it wouldn't be built. Could be used for recreation. Could be used for numerous things. It was open to the public. We bought, 1960, $895, 2.5 acres. It was my dream. My parents bought it for me. I wanted to retire here. I came here, I discovered BLM has traded that property or sold it, and it has now become private. Zone 36 acre. Well, okay. So I bought within a half mile of that I still owned my 2.5 acres 2 miles north of it. Now we're talking about less than 1 acre. I'd like it to stay at 36 acre. I'd like your zoning on this overlay to stay like it was. If we have to go to something smaller, that's fine. I'll go along with it. I live on a smaller lot now also. But let's match the surrounding, not with an outside ribbon around these blocks, but with the whole thing. Let's keep our small lots and our commercial, Legend Ranch 93 or 68, within a mile of one of those. We don't need to go out in the middle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Isabel?
Isabel Files, North Mormon Flat Road, Golden Valley. Everybody's basically said what I've been thinking, mainly the water. When water's gone, it's gone. No matter what plan you put into place or what you say, look over Arizona. Communities are running out of water. Developers are not going to come back and say, oh, let's help you. No. The taxes have, what about the buildings they want to build? Who is going to, the people living there are going to lose their property. They're not going to be able to afford the taxes that have to increase in order to support what they plan. These people moved out there because it was rural. They chose to live that way. And now, because someone says that progress is inevitable, which in reality, what you mean is it's just greed. You have marched into Arizona, you're just taking over. You're not listening to the people. You say you have meetings and that, you've spoken to the community. That's all lies. It's transparency after the fact. When will you stop? When there's nothing left, when Arizona is not Arizona, it looks just like one big development? When is the end of this? These people have been there their entire lives. And along comes someone from somewhere and says, well, you know what? This is my American dream. I'm going to take over your land. It's sad. And that's really, I think we all need to think about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Neil?
Yep, Neil Groover from 3855 North Bowles Road, Golden Valley, Arizona. And I had thought that this was, I was here about a year ago. I think Melville Bishop was commissioner or something to do with that, and I thought this was all taken care of. And about a month ago, a neighbor brought down the miners saying that they'd had a big meeting here, and Engel Homes had put another proposal on the record to do this or do that, but nobody out there knew about it. Talking about being notified, nobody out there was notified. Everybody at my church, everybody that I've talked to from the Cowboy Church, anybody in Golden Valley that I've talked to at the outpost of where I've talked, nobody wants it. We've got what we moved out there for. I got a flag. I can put a Trump sign up on it in my yard. I can put a cross of Christ up in my yard if I want to, because where I moved from, that was getting to where anything like that was, they didn't want you to do it. Fact is, they wanted to tell you what color you could paint. I mean, it was getting, the homeowners association was getting really, really bad. But the other thing is that bigger is better. Now, I bought here about 30 years ago. Kingman was probably half the size. And the road, Fort Bill Springs Road, the one going off of Joy Lane, the back road, it had the dairy and it had Call's mine out there. The road was better then than it is now. But I see homes all over Kingman. So just having more homes don't make it better. Fact is, most of the time it makes it worse. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I please have Jennifer and Danielle? And we're going to start with Jennifer, and I just need to see a hands raised for the following people: Roger, Ooh. I'm sorry? Okay. Jennifer, you can come on up. Okay, Kurt and Christine. Perfect. 8 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. I hope I don't need 8, but it's nice to have it. The people in Golden Valley, we're not anti-growth, those of us who own property out there, or even those who own, who rent property out there. We're anti-stupidity, okay? We're anti-open meeting law violations. We're anti-secrecy. We're I hate to use the word because it's so often misused, sustainability. Okay? Just because you have water in the aquifer, if you add, let's say, 2,700 homes and you essentially double the population of the valley, it's not that you won't have water, it's that the water table drops. And everyone who has an existing well can no longer reach the water. And those people have to drill deeper. Now, as a property owner in Golden Valley, I'm very much aware of the recent presentation that said at that time to the board, we've only 402 water allocations in the Golden Valley Improvement District where I own my property. Even if Angle Homes were to scale this proposal back to 400 units, even if they were to do something like that, that would mean they would take all of the available water allotments, which would mean they would deprive me and countless other property owners of the ability to subdivide our property and sell part of it off, because our property is now devaluated and we would have the right to sue, because there would be no one who would buy our properties or any of the other properties who don't have a water allotment who've already been previously subdivided. The other issue is, and I suspect this is why Angle Homes wanted to put a 1-acre buffer around their proposal, is right now the property owners within 300 feet have the number of signatures required to force a supermajority vote of the board. If Angle puts a little donut of 1-acre parcels around the outside of their proposal, they become the 300 feet people. And then the people who are most affected, and let me tell you, 1 acre isn't much. I know, because I have 5. 1 acre is nothing. You can see it, you're affected by it. But most importantly, that everyone seems to be forgetting in all of this, is the reason that the original proposal for the general plan was reverting Dorado back to the original zoning is because it was required. It's not, forget the fact that the general plan purpose is for community input about what the community wants, not what you guys sitting up there. We don't rightly give a damn what you want or what you think about planned communities as opposed to, quote, wildcat developments. Because let me tell you, Angle's doing some of those too, okay? But, we would rather have individual parcels developed at 1 acre or larger with a septic tank than have to go around and around with AEDQ and ADWR over water allotments, water issues, whatever, what kind of sewage treatment plant they plan to do with this down the road once they have jumped this hurdle. The original 2006 resolution stated very clear caveats. So I'd like to tell you what it said. It was Resolution 2006-65-7A. You should all have a copy. If you don't, you better get a copy, because it said, on I believe it's the 3rd page under Section 9, it said development of the area plan shall show sufficient progress by the next decennial update of the general plan. Sufficient progress is the development of a single village or unit. Okay? They didn't build a spec home. It wasn't Angle them. They bought this for pennies on the dollar and foreclosed it all in one court action, on tax lien stuff. So they knew what they bought when they bought it. No one is entitled to have carve-outs made for what they want. I mean, that's not just obvious and moral, it's statutory. You're not supposed to do this to benefit any individual or company or corporation. That's your job as commissioners. But not even a single spec home was ever built on it when it belonged to the previous owner. The resolution that the board signed in 2006 said it had to be done in order to get the designation that they're asking you for now, and it was never done. And it said, without such progress, the area plan will be recommended for reduction, reduction in scope or rescission. So it was recommended for rescission. Now, the other point that I would like to make is that there is no housing shortage. And this board and the Board of Supervisors in 2022, March of 2022, approved an Angle Homes development directly across from Ship Estates that's supposed to be 250 to 300 homes. We're hearing 277, but regardless. Now, that's not that far from my property. I drive down the highway all the time. And I haven't driven by in the last couple of weeks, but to the best of my knowledge, Angle Homes, despite getting approval in 2022, hasn't even broke ground on that. So there's no harm, no foul in a general plan to say, you know what, Angle Homes, you can come back in 10 years and ask for this again. When we know what the housing market is, when we know what the growth is. The population of the United States is in decline. I'm pretty sure the population of Arizona is, and I know for an absolute fact, per Tammy Ersenbach at Development Services, that the population of Golden Valley is greatly in decline. There's a ton of houses for sale in Kingman, and there's a lot of houses for sale right now sitting vacant in Golden Valley. We've got, let's say, 277 more Angle Homes coming. We have, what, another 300 or something coming, 300 and plus coming down in Pravada. That can't be stopped either because of the same contractual obligations that say this must be reverted back. Do the right thing. Do the statutory thing. Do the thing that the board originally designed in 2006. Revert it back and let Angle Homes come back on the next general plan and say, hey, things have changed. We want to do this now. Open meeting law was violated. I think that's what that guy was talking about not giving notice. I'm not sure. I filed an open meeting law complaint. I have not received notice from the State Attorney General Ombudsman at the Open Meeting Law Enforcement Team as to their determination on my case. But we do know that the county attorney has said open meeting law was violated, which is why we have to come back and do this again today. And because the board voted to reject the plan that was submitted, they now need more than 2/3 vote to approve it. The reality is that they're not going to probably get that. So we're going to be rolling under the existing general plan until they do, and they're required by law to come back and try and try and try again. The plan doesn't revert back. It just stays in place until the Board of Supervisors can come to basically a unanimous decision, because more than 2/3 on a board of 5 means everybody, because that's how it works on the like the sales tax increase. It has to be unanimous now because of the way the statute's written. I read 11805. Have you? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Danielle, again, we're just going to do hands on this. Tina Ramos. Avalanche. Thank you. I can't read the last name, but thank you. Robert Sessions. Carol Sessions. Arthur Ramos. Kathleen Joy. Oh, thank you. Kathy Calhoun. Thank you. And Trish Call. Thank you. Yeah, 18 minutes, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. Danielle Oliket, Golden Valley. I have a presentation that I've worked hard on for you guys to help put things into some perspective on what we are seeing as a community. Last time we were here, we felt like you were telling us that you know better than us, but I don't feel that there's evidence behind why the decision was made to keep this in the plan. So I'm hoping that my presentation today will trigger a conversation, not only between you guys and us and the development services, but also with the developer on this. So this is what we were told at our Golden Valley presentation put on by the county. The importance of the public input. The general plan is intended to represent the collective vision of every community within Mojave County. Public input ensures the plan will align with the values, needs of the residents of each community. So I've underlined all the most important parts. The residents of Mojave County provide the necessary understanding of the specific challenges and opportunities for each community. Your input, our input, helps ensure that these critical items are not overlooked. Participation in this process is one of the best opportunities to have your voice heard now regarding how your neighborhood and community will evolve over the next 10 years. Active participation in this process helps ensure that the planning process remains transparent and the end result serves the public interest. So that's what we were told by Mojave County at our meeting. And this is what we did to stay involved. We attended the county ran meetings. We had over 40 people, I believe, that attended that meeting. It was unfortunate, though. It was held June 26, which is in the middle of summer, and many Golden Valley residents are snowbirds, and they leave at that time. So I got so many calls and texts from people saying, we're not able to make that meeting. And then also there were sound issues, and it was like 100 degrees in the building. So many people, couldn't hear, and people left early because it was so uncomfortable. So what we decided to do is we hosted our own community meetings. We had 3 different community meetings that we opened up to the public, myself and some other really awesome people in the community. We hosted it at a restaurant. We invited everybody who was running for supervisor at the time. I sent emails to all of you guys to let you know about the meeting. I don't know if it was ever received or not, but we had over 100 people attend those meetings as well, and we collected a petition of support, how we would like to see Golden Valley develop, and that has now over like 500 signatures, which I was kind of sad it wasn't in the backup documents that you guys received, even though I have sent it in to the county, along with additional letters that we helped people write while they were at the meeting. So we submitted those comments and those petitions, and if you look, Golden Valley has had the most participation out of this general plan, and what's upsetting is that all these other communities, yay, we wanted an acre. Okay, sure, you have it. Golden Valley, no, you can't have it, even though you've spoke up the most, you've been the most passionate about this, and this has been going on for way longer than just the general plan update. We participated in subcommittee meetings. We've showed up to every subcommittee meeting that regarded Golden Valley. And I hope you see our presentation, but people are starting to get burnt out, and most people who are very passionate about this, they work, they have kids. A lot of people are going to set up at fair today because that's what we love out there in Golden Valley, is that agricultural lifestyle. So where we are now, we're here because unfortunately there was a meeting that took place without our knowledge, and changes were made. It wasn't publicly noticed. And yes, to answer Mr. Patillo's question that he asked very clearly to our planning department, was there open meeting law violation? Yes, there was. And so that kind of hurt that you guys couldn't answer that clearly. So now here we are back again with another opportunity to express ourselves. And the main topic of discussion that we're upset about, everything else I think we support. We support Supervisor Martin wanting to keep the commercial along the highway, which I know that was another reason why it did get sent back too. But it's this Dorado dispute. And so you can see right here, this is currently what is on the general plan and what the current zoning is. The project is 1,440 acres. It's currently zoned 36-acre agriculture residential lots. Currently, there's 36 dwellings that would be allowable in this area. It's surrounded mainly by 1 acre or larger lots. 17 lots are owned by Resurrected Properties, and 19 lots are owned by High Desert Land Holdings. Oh, and it's approximately 2 miles north from Highway 68. The new proposal, which we appreciate, the concessions that they made. We don't think it's enough, though. So right now, their new proposal includes 172 acres of suburban residential. And if you're not familiar, but Mojave County defines suburban residential as 1 to 5 acre lots. And then they have about 940 acres planned for low-density residential. And what low-density residential under Mojave County's guidelines is 3 to 5 homes per acre. So I just want to hopefully get some clarification on where you guys stand, where Development Services stand, and where Engel Home stands. Where does responsible growth and exploitive growth fall in between just this development? So I ran some numbers. This is just saying out of 940 of the acres that they have proposed, not the full 1440, what the density increase would be. So currently, like I said, there's 36 homes that you can currently build. If they did go with the 1 acre lots, that would be approximately 940 homes in that same area. That density increase is 2,511%. I was surprised when I ran these numbers. I said, wow, maybe an acre is way too much there too. Maybe it should stay 36 acres. Maybe it should be 10 acres. Maybe it should be 5 acres. But that sounded like a lot. Now, if you cut it down to 3 homes per acre, that's 2,820 homes. That density increase would be 7,733%. If they got 5 homes per acre, and this is low density residential, low density, right? That density increase is 12,955%. So my question is, what is reasonable growth, even if it is expanded out over 10, 20, 30 years? This scale of expansion risk overwhelming our infrastructure, straining our water, energy resources, and eroding the rural lifestyles that residents of Golden Valley move there for. Growth really should be thoughtful, not explosive or exploitive, is how we feel right now. It's exploiting our community. So what does the traffic increase look like? Now, I know nobody's required to do this beforehand, but I went and I did some research, and based off of I use the Institute of Transport Engineers Trip Generation Manual, which it's a global organization that provides trusted data and tools for traffic forecasting, transportation planning, and infrastructure design. And the reference guide is used by traffic engineers, city planners, developers, environmental consultants, and people like me who are curious about this kind of stuff. And it contains real-world data showing how many vehicle trips are generated by different types of land uses for homes, offices, stores. And so for this example, I use single-family residence as my factor. So for 36 homes, that would generate about 342 additional trips on the roads right there every day. 940 homes would generate 8,930 trips a day, which would approximately increase the traffic by 26%. 2,000 homes, 2,800 homes, that would increase the traffic by 78%, and 5 homes per acre, which would be around 4,700 homes, would increase the traffic by 130%. Now, I know that no one's required to do this, but these are the kind of numbers that I'm crunching, so maybe somebody could sit down with me and show me if I'm doing it wrong or help me understand. But the trip estimates average 9.5 vehicle trips per home per day, industry standard, which, wow, I thought, man, that's a lot, 9.5 trips a day. But then I started thinking about it. Well, my husband leaves for work and comes home from work. That's 4 trips right there, in and out. I take my kids to and from school twice a day. That's in and out. That's at least 8 trips. Plus, I'm running to Kingman, making deliveries. So it's pretty average. And it does say that planners can, mitigate these things through the use of public transportation and walking distance within stores and facilities. But in Golden Valley, we're not going to get public transportation in the next 10 years. We're not going to have stores and places that we're going to be able to walk to out there, especially when it's 100 degrees most of the year. And the population impact is something that I took a look at. So right now, 36 homes, that wouldn't even put a little bleep on the bar graph, right? That wouldn't impact us at all if they just built out what's currently zoned. 920 homes, 940 homes, that would increase our population by about 22%. The 3 homes per acre would increase our population by 66.8%. And the 4,700 homes, 5 homes per acre, would increase it by 111%. So it would, just this one development could, if they built out over 10 years, double the size of Golden Valley. So doubling in Golden Valley would put us at a 7% annual growth rate, which is like unheard of. That is unstable. It's very fast. Most stable communities, from my research, grow in between a 1 to 3% increase, all right, in population and home building. So what's reasonable for Golden Valley? So Mojave County's current growth conditions, what do those look like? I looked all over the county website. I did some public records requests. I searched online. We have a moderate growth rate. Mojave County's population is projected to grow consistently, averaging around 1 to 1.5% annually, with about 2,900 new residents per year. And that's per the census and the Mojave County Economic Development Department data that I was able to get. To align with Mojave County's projected population growth, so let's just say an average of 1.3% annually, Golden Valley would need to add approximately 535 new homes over the next 10 years, and that would put us at about a 1.3% annual growth rate. And so then you can see the metrics that I used for that. The 8,000, so I went off of the 2020 census. It does say that that was the most correct one to use, but like Ms. Esposito said, based off of Tammy Ersenbach's number, Golden Valley actually had a decline in population, and now we're starting to level back out. So that's how many homes we would need to keep pace with Mojave County's growth rate. So what's already approved for Golden Valley? Well, we have the Golden Valley Ranch Project, the Pravada, the Rhodes Project. Those are all the 3 names that I know it's called by. The first phase, which is already moving forward, we saw that presentation last time, is between 330 and 360 new homes. The total build on that is approximately 20,000 homes based off of what I've been able to gather, but I don't really know what that number could be. And that's on 5,700 acres. It's located south. It's right there next to the 40 industrial corridor. It's a great place to have this kind of development, and it's already locked in for the next, time. We also have the Midway Estates, which is Eagle Homes development on the southeast side of the Teddy Roosevelt and the highway. And they've been approved for 273 new homes. All right, that one hasn't broke ground yet, but I believe they're in their second plat phase to get that approved. They got that going. Individual builds. I know just on my way to take my kids to school, I can count 16 new houses, just one straight shot down Chino. I don't know how many are popping up all over the place. I was able to pull up building permits from Mojave County that have been given for new single resident family housing, but I couldn't calculate them by area. So I don't know how many were issued just for Golden Valley. I didn't have that data. So that's already 600 new homes planned for the next 10 years. And an annual growth rate, if we took this 600 plus, let's say they got acre lots on the Dorado development, that would put us at 1,500 homes, and that puts us at a growth rate of 2.85%, which is actually kind of on the high end, especially for a semi-rural community with, lacking infrastructure. So my question to you, is Golden Valley already on track for the next 10 years? Wouldn't it be wise to see how the current developments will impact the valley over these next 10 years? They're saying this one's not even looking out. He said 20, 30 years today. All right, come back with a better plan, because right now it's not making any sense. So we're asking to please revert the Dorado to suburban land use for the time being. We believe the developers can produce a better, more reasonable plan that better suits the community. And if anything, please explain to us what responsible and well-planned growth looks like, because it's not coming across as responsible or well-planned. And then just one thing that I want to close with is this video. I was going back through watching planning and zoning meetings, and there's a clip that I found of Mr. Engel And this is what he said. Oh, hold on, let me turn my sound on.
This area to do 1 acre lots. We've had success doing nice 1 acre lots in Kingman, in the Kingman Valley, and a couple other subdivisions, and those are pretty much full up. So we're looking for an area to do some more of those. Some of the feedback we've heard is people are worried about traffic.
So all other areas, yeah, cool. They can do 1 acre subdivisions. I know they have one going on over in, I think, Bull Acres or Bull Ranches. Why not Golden Valley? Why can't we come to a fair, reasonable understanding, come up with a better solution, bring the negotiations to the table? But right now, it hasn't been met through this whole entire general plan update, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will say that you always have very professional and pragmatic presentations. It's obvious and apparent why people always yield their time to you. So thank you. Do commissioners, or is there anyone else who would like to speak on this item that did not sign up? That was the last of the presentations. Hearing none, I'm closing the public hearing. Are there any questions, comments, or statements for staff, or just from what we've heard from commissioners? Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. And yeah, those were fantastic discussion points, and I very much appreciate listening and hearing them. I did have a question about the resolution 2006-651A. That was an interesting conversation about. I've never heard that you revert general plans back to original. So tell me if that's I mean, I've seen where zoning does that, but not general plan. So is that something that generally happens?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Bradshaw, it's not very common. That resolution does have that language in there. I was not with the county in 2010 when they did their general plan update, or in 2015 when they did another general plan update. So I don't know what all the conversations were at that time, but I know that the general plan went through the public process in 2010 and then again in 2015, and this area remained the way that it was from that 2006 resolution in both of those general plans. And so I don't know if there was a lot of discussion and recommendation to rescind it and they decided not to, or people forgot about that part of the resolution. I don't know. I wasn't here for that. But I do know that the general plan has gone through 2 approval processes by the board, and both of those approvals by the board had this as it sits in that 2015 general plan the way that it is.
So was that 2006 resolution, was that a general plan amendment outside of the entire countywide general plan?
Right, the 2006 one was an area plan, so there was an area plan for this Dorado area, and I apologize, I don't know the whole history. It was kind of brought into the existing Golden Valley area plan, and then the general plan that condition that was read references the next general plan update that would have happened in 2010, and then the county did another one in 2015.
Okay, thank you. There was a couple of comments that I wanted to discuss. Also, there was a lot of discussion about traffic and schools and EMS and police and fire stations. And one question says, who pays for that? Well, the public pays for that always, regardless of who the public is, because it's a district. Districts have a general taxation option. So the more people you have in that district, the less your taxes actually become. Potentially. I mean, it stands to reason you split it up by more people. Now, there's still an option for 1,400 homes. That's something. It's not incidental. I made this pitch the last time we had this discussion. You can have 1,400 septics and wonder what's going to happen to your water system, or you can work with a developer who has a concept package. Slight higher density, true, but at least with that higher density, it does facilitate and pay for accelerated infrastructure such as sewer treatment systems. And again, you don't get to do any of these developments without state and county and DEQ approvals. You don't just willy-nilly throw out 2,400 homes and say that, yeah, we're just going to do that on the hook and crook. That's not how it works. And again, this document is not a vesting document. This is a trajectory document. Maybe they don't see a value past more than 1 acre homes, even though it's in the general plan to do that. That said, you know, with the suburban designation, there is no stipulation. There's no place. There's no immediate understanding of where a school might occur, where a police station might be placed, where a future fire station might be. I mean, these are incidentals, I guess, but you know, at least with this kind of a designation, you have expectation that that's going to happen. With the standard suburban, there is no expectation, and in fact, you can just break them up into 1 acre squares, which works. I don't necessarily think that's a terrible way to develop an area. I just think there's better ways, and this is, to me, an option for a better way. But that said, you know, I am listening. I don't think that I am smarter than anyone else. I feel like that we have heard from the public, and we'll move this forward as we see fit.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
I got a couple things. Turn this on. When I was looking through everything, I'm pretty thorough. I read everything. I listened to all the people from Golden Valley. Everywhere I've been, everybody's always against, I don't want my neighborhood to grow out. Can the staff answer me one question? What is the difference between the 2025 and the 2015 proposal for this property?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Kirkham, I should have put a side-by-side in here. The difference is all the medium-density residential that was previously included in this Dorado area was removed, changed to low-density residential, and then along the perimeter of the development, let me go to this one here, this light green hash that goes along the south and the west and the north side of the development, that is a suburban residential land use designation that used to be either low density or medium density. So those have changed to accommodate larger lots around the perimeter, and then removed the medium density residential from the middle.
So did that require a zoning change, or was it just because?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Kirkham, so the existing zoning for this area is currently agricultural residential with a 36-acre minimum lot size for the majority of it. I believe there is one portion that is just zoned agricultural residential, I believe. And so any development, they would have to go through the rezone process still to match whatever general plan designation is approved.
So this project will require rezoning?
That is correct.
Well, that answered my question, and like it's been previously stated, all of these homes are going to pay property tax. Right now, you got a big piece of property, it's paying one property tax, which is very low. If you start adding all these homes, everybody's going to have property tax, and that's where the money comes for all the improvements, the schools, the fire, everything else. That's all I have. Thank you.
Hearing no other questions or comments? I'm sorry.
Just a comment from Commissioner Rugi that he supports the general plan for Golden Valley, and let me see, he's typing. Okay, I'm just going to read his comment. The general plan has had the zoning for many years. I support any owner's right to develop their land within the general plan's guidelines. Existing AR zoning is a holding designation until the land is developed.
Thank you. Hearing no other comments, we are moving on to item 5. Matthew.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, yes.
I just want to mention while we have everybody in the room, today is discussion only, like we've mentioned before, but next week on the 17th, the commission will be making a recommendation to the board again. And so just for everybody's information, we will have another meeting next week on Wednesday, same time, same place, that we will make, the commission will then make a recommendation to the board. I just wanted everybody to hear that.
Thank you. Item 5.
Item number 5 is going to be the Dolan Springs, White Hills, and Meadview areas. So area north of Kingman, towards the Grand Canyon there. So there's a lot of comments about proposed wind and solar projects in the area. Most of those proposals were on public property, but there's a lot of concern about some of those proposed projects. There's the existing windmill project up north of White Hills. I know there's a proposed solar facility kind of in that same area, as well as a couple other potential wind and solar projects. There was a request for a clear delineation between residential and commercial uses. So this comment more in the Dolan Springs area along Pierce Ferry Road. There's a lot of property that has our A, which is a general zoning that does allow for both residential and commercial development. And so there's a lot of residential and commercial kind of adjacent to each other. And then also concerns about road maintenance and that the future growth may have on some of those existing roads. So a large portion of the White Hills area and a smaller portion of the Dolan Springs area were recently updated as the Entrada project went through the major plan amendment process. And so there's a few discrepancies kind of in the zoning between those new land use designations and the zoning, and along Pierce Ferry Road, there's areas where the commercial development or commercial land use designation stretches along Pierce Ferry Road, even with residential zoning. But given that it's along that major arterial that is continuing to see more and more commercial development, staff's not proposing any changes there at this time. We'll kind of get into some of the maps. So it's largely checkerboarded. There's a lot of areas that are suburban residential, so those 1 to 2 acre lots. And then there's a lot of BLM property that's checkerboarded throughout there. And then we have that rural area kind of on the outskirts there. So here is White Hills. This area used to be almost all rural, but there's that Entrada project. So you can see this, there's this grayish color here. That's the airport industrial designation for the proposed airport. And then they have suburban and urban land use designations in the area for future commercial growth and for future residential growth as this project continues to grow and develop over time. And then in the Meadview area, Meadview is another one of our outlying communities. It's all a rural land use designation, and it's mostly residential lots. There is a little bit of commercial there in kind of the Meadview proper area, but most of it is residential, and the intention there is to leave it as an outlying community. And that concludes the presentation for item number 5.
Thank you very much. Item 6. Oh, sorry. Backing it up. Opening the public hearing to no one who's signed up and one gentleman who's sitting in the room and is signed up to speak for item 6. Would you like to speak on item 5? Come on down.
My name's Kenny Works. I'm from Yucca, Arizona. I was serving on the Transportation Commission when there was a lot of development going on in the White Hills area. And there was comments made by the people doing the development out there referring to hydraulical studies. Where's the water going to flow when it rains type studies? And we seem to lose focus on these sorts of things when we're talking about developing these areas. Can put a subdivision right with, say, 50 homes. If it's not put in the right spot, the water's going to come right down through there and wash it all away. There needs to be more concentration on those types of studies when these things are being talked about. When developers come in, they bring utilities generally. They bring enough density where you can have a mail delivery. You don't have to drive 25 miles to the post office to mail a letter or receive your mail. There's a lot of benefits to having more dense population. The only problem is how dense do you want it and how well is it planned out concerning all these things like hydrological studies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Closing the public hearing. Moving on to item 6. Sir, if you want to stay down here, you're signed up to speak on that item as well.
Item number 6 is the Yucca area. And so we had really good turnout from the Yucca area. There's a lot of comments on keeping larger parcels and the rural feel of the area. The existing general plan showed kind of some small pockets of future commercial development as you travel down Alamo Road. The majority of the comments that we received didn't want any more commercial recreation on the northeast of Alamo Road, kind of getting rid of some of that commercial development designations as you get further into the Dutch Flat area. And then we got some comments wanting no industrial development at all, and others that said any industrial development should be kept along Interstate 40. We also received comments about fire and sheriff's services out there, road maintenance and infrastructure, and some of the upkeep of some of the roads. I know the Property Owners Association manages and maintains a lot of the roads out there, but then there are also some of the county maintained roads. And so the proposal is to change a lot of that area in the Dutch Flat area to a rural development area, getting rid of some of those higher density designations. And there's also some medium density residential and commercial designations in like the old town side of Yucca. And staff's proposing to change those to an urban development area to allow for both those commercial and those residential uses that the zoning designation already allows for. And then we are proposing to leave the areas along I-40 for industrial or commercial as they are currently. So here we have the North Yucca area. You can kind of see, so this yellow and orange is that low density, medium density residential that we're looking to change to urban. And then you can see, let's see. So there's this light blue is that industrial designation along I-40. There is some existing industrial development out there, but a lot of that property is largely vacant. And so here you can kind of see the changes, especially in that Dutch Flat area. This area is rural development area already. We're planning on leaving that. But you can see these pockets of pink, which are neighborhood commercial that we're proposing to get rid of. This area internally here is it's a lot of vacant land, larger parcels, residential development. And then this is this lighter green color is that commercial recreation that we received several comments about wanting to get rid of. And so we're proposing to change all of that to a rural development area. So a lot of this Dutch Flat area Most of the parcels out there are 40-acre parcels or 36-acre parcels. After you get rid of the roads that go around all four sides of it, there have been several in the area that have split, but even those ones that are splitting down to 10-acre lots. There's not really anything less than that 10-acre lot size in that Dutch Flat area. So that matches our rural development area designation, and so that's what the plan was for that area. And that is our conclusion for item number 6.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, Kenny Works.
Thank you, Kenny Works, Yucca, Arizona. Hydrology has always been the biggest issue out there in the ranchos where I live. It was a development of 40-acre parcels, about 300 square miles. A lot of dirt roads that we have to maintain, and we pay dues to our association in order to keep those roads maintained. A few of them got washed away here in this last thunderstorm we had. Because of a lot of it's because of a lack of hydraulic preparation in order to prevent the roads from being completely washed away. We haven't really had enough help from the county in planning these types of things to where we can divert the water to areas where they will not wash away the roads. I think that I'm going to be moving out of there pretty soon. I'm approaching 80 years old, and I can't keep up with everything that I need to keep up with on my place. It's starting to get pretty run down. I'm going to have to move into a town or something here in the next few years. But my sister passed away about a year ago, and her place is probably going to revert to the county. I can't keep up with her property taxes. So it's been pretty big disappointment all around for all of us out there that went in there with higher hopes. Can't keep up with the utilities. There's just we have to have water delivery. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Closing the public hearing, are there any questions or comments from commissioners for staff? None. I'll move on to item 7.
Item number 7, this one will be short. This is the Wickiup area. We didn't receive any comments for the Wickiup area. It's also an outlying community, so it's all shows as a rural development area. Again, most of these lots out here are meet that rural density, a lot of 40-acre parcels. And then there is the commercial area along Highway 93 as you drive through Wickiup. Gas stations, things like that. So the proposal would be to leave it as a outlying community, continue to allow commercial development along Highway 93, and then leave the rest as those larger parcels. There's also, this is the Silverado area, and at the interchange between I-40 and Highway 93. There are a lot of smaller lots in here. This is an area where it was proposed for a subdivision, and then it was going to be solar, and then it went back to the subdivision. There are some checkerboard lots in here, but the commercial development designations are along the highway, and there are some of those smaller lots, so there's no proposed changes here either. And that concludes the presentation for item number 7.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on item 7? Oh, yes, sir.
The agenda says item 7 is England. Item 8 is
That looks like that is a question for staff.
I apologize. I messed up my presentation.
Matthew, you had one job today. So, given that we heard item 8, I am opening the public hearing for item 8. Is there anyone who would like to speak on item 8? No? Closing the public hearing for item 8. Are there any commissioners' comments or questions for staff?
A question.
Of course.
You keep mentioning outlying communities, and it's a term that I can't find in the zoning ordinance as defined. And it kind of puts a negative connotation to these communities. That's my personal observation. Isolated or remote, maybe, but outlying, that's kind of just an observation.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Morse, there's no definition in the zoning ordinance for outlying communities. It's only referenced in the general plan. It includes a lot of the old, Oatman, Chloride, so a lot of these older areas that had people living there before planning and zoning was ever planning and zoning. Right, before we ever had a zoning ordinance or anything like that, these areas existed, had developed, and so rather trying to go in and match everything, it was just hey, these areas are these outlying communities. A lot of them aren't growing very fast. There's commercial along major areas, and so the idea there is just to allow them to continue to do that, not make them go through general plan updates every time they want to do. Make those small changes and just let them continue to do it. I don't know when that term outlying community started, but that's what's in there, and we kept it, the term that's already in there.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 7 for the Kingman area.
Item 7 for Kingman. All right, so for the Kingman area, we had a couple specific changes that were requested by property owners and developers that were presented. We had comments about working with tribes for cultural surveys and to ensure that the general plans for both the tribe and the county align. There was a comment about wanting to ban all decorative water usage similar to Clark County. In looking at the land use maps out there, staff didn't have any objection to those proposed changes. So let me see if I can. So here's the Kingman area. So this is one of those changes. You can see, so on the left, we have the 2015 general plan. This is an area, this is where that new interchange is currently being constructed. Flying Fortress, I think is the current name of it. And so looking for potential road connection from that interchange all the way south there to Wallapai Mountain Road, and expected development along that road that would connect directly there. So we have a little pocket of medium density residential and some general commercial that was proposed to kind of aid in that future development out there. This is an area north of the Butler area. Again, this is an area where there's a lot of medium density residential already. So we were approached about changing this area from low density to medium density. Again, they'd have to go through the subdivision process to achieve that density, which would require them to bring in all of the necessary improvements and infrastructure that would be expected at that medium density residential designation. And that's right there near the corner of Bank Street and Grace Neal Parkway. And so those are the big changes there. Everything else is going to stay pretty much the same. You've got the airport north of city limits. There is that blue color, that industrial. I know the city is actively working on expansion of that airport industrial area, working with the FAA on that. But we see a lot of medium and low density residential, especially north of Kingman in that Butler area. And then as you get further out north, gets into the suburban development areas, and then out to, as you go further out into the rural designations. And so that is the conclusion for item number 7.
Opening the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak on item 7? Closing the public hearing. Are there any commissioners' comments or questions for staff regarding item 7?
I have one comment.
Yes, sir.
As far as the community request on banning decorative water usage, don't we already have an ordinance that does that? Because I recall writing one with Supervisor Moss in 2013, I think. And it was passed by the board.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Patillo, it's not in the zoning ordinance. I am not aware of the specifics of that
It's,
resolution.
it's an ordinance that was passed by the board in 2013 or 2014. I don't remember which. And it was specifically given over to either just planning and zoning or planning and zoning and the environmental quality division of development services for enforcement.
I will have to look into that.
That's all I had.
All right. Moving on to item 9.
All right, item 9. We better check, make sure I'm on the right one here.
Please.
For Mojave Valley areas. So when we held this community meeting, this was at the same time that MEC and EPCO were looking to develop looking for zoning approval for their power plant out in this area. We received a lot of comments about industrial designations, most of them in conjunction with that specific power plant. We had comments about wanting to make sure that tribal land was identified and designated on the general plan, and then also to work with the tribes through that update process. And then a lot of concerns about water and energy being produced or here in the county, but then sent outside of Mojave County. And so in going through, we did change it to make sure that those tribal designations were added to the general plan, so they're more clearly notated. You're looking at the general map before, there was just like no color for that tribal land, so it didn't look like it had any designation or anything like that. We wanted to make sure that those got labeled with the tribes that have that property. And then we looked through some of the existing zoning. There are a few places where existing zoning and existing development didn't match perfectly, but a lot of it still made sense for potential future growth with a lot of the commercial and light industrial development along Highway 95 as you go south from Bullhead. So here's the kind of the side-by-side, not a lot of changes. You can see that we have and I'm too zoomed out to read each individual one. A lot of that checkerboard is tribal land, and it's this brownish color now so that it shows as tribal land. We'll see some additional, so this blue area here is that location for that peaker plant for Mojave Electric. We changed some of the industrial that was commercially zoned to a commercial designation kind of along Highway 95. But a lot of once you get off of Highway 95, a lot of that is low-density residential or suburban residential and matched either existing development or proposed development. And so we didn't make any changes in those residential areas. And that concludes our presentation for item number 9.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing for item number 9. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing no one, I'd like to close the public hearing for item number 9. Are there any commissioners' comments, questions for staff?
I think one of the important things, if you don't mind, one of the important things is commercial along the corridor right before the bridge that goes into Needles. It seems like a lot of that is being built out into business. I'd forecast that at all in the general plan, right along Highway 95 working across.
Going into Needles, like right before the bridge? Oh.
Yeah, that whole area is a checkerboard of houses being built and commercial, but it's more commercial than residential. I don't know if we can.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Again, I should have had a couple maps that were a little bit more zoomed in. Yeah, that area down there, we are seeing some changes to commercial, but it's hard because a lot of those, along those same roads, there's a lot of existing residences, and then you have vacant properties, and so we're certainly seeing some of those properties being rezoned to commercial. Staff has been supportive of those as it goes along those major roads. But it also didn't work to try and, make full corridors down that area because of the existing residences that are already there along those same roads.
It's certainly a service community to Needles, and it'll continue to build out in commercial, I believe. I just hope we are conducive to that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Item 10.
All right, so item number 10 is the Val Vista area north of Kingman. We were asked to do a separate community meeting in this area. Again, this is another one that we had really good turnout at. And a lot of the comments at the meeting were looking at an alternative access site to Val Vista, which is Superstition Drive. So it would be accessed as you continue along 66 past Concho, the main access into the subdivision, by having that alternative one for emergency access, and also just an alternative access as more homes are being built in this area. And then also a lot of comments on water usage, especially about a lot of the large farms in the area. So Val Vista, the community is largely developed, or at least zoned for the land use designations that are out there. Now they continue to see more and more homes being built, but they are smaller lots. And then as you go north of Val Vista, there is an area. So this is Val Vista. You can see Superstition Drive here, which I think Public Works is looking at improving and working on that drive to provide better access, kind of as an alternative exit from the subdivision in case for emergency access or whatever it needs to be. So this is an area that is north of Val Vista. It's currently a rural development area, but it is zoned RMH. It was platted, I think, back in the early 60s as a mobile home subdivision. This is an entire section. There are, I believe, 0 mobile homes, manufactured homes in this subdivision. We have a few zoning violations. We've had a few zoning violations over time in this area of people living in RVs. And so it's an area that doesn't make sense, but we have hundreds of lots that are owned by hundreds of different people. And so we looked through a few different areas. I think what we landed on was changing it to a suburban development area. A lot of the lots, the parcels in and around that area are all zoned agricultural residential. So the idea being if people could purchase, multiple of these lots together and combine them into 1 acre lots, rezone them to agricultural residential, would allow them to build site-built homes instead of being restricted to manufactured homes like the current zoning restricts them to, and kind of hopefully allow, that also aligns with being able to put septic systems out there because there's no sewer system out there, and just a little bit more conducive to what is feasible to be built. But it's definitely an area that we see a lot of. Every time they do those tax deed sales, we see a lot of lots in this area go up for sale because people don't want to build a house or whatever and realize they can't do that, or there's no infrastructure, and so they'll stop paying taxes on it and it'll go up on the tax deed sale. But that concludes our presentation for item number 10.
Okay. Opening the public hearing for item number 10. There was no one signed up to speak. Would anyone like to speak on item number 10? It's your last chance, sir. Okay, hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing for item number 10 and entertain commissioners' comments or questions.
I got something.
Yes, sir.
I know it's not under our purview, but I've been getting a lot of calls from Valley Vista residents that say they get water one day, they don't get water the next day. There's something wrong with this, with the water system out there. Pipes are breaking and all that stuff. Who could they call to address that?
Water company? Do they have a water
company that changed hands like 6 times, I guess.
Yeah, Chairman has it, Commissioner Kirkham. So I do know the water company out there is working at improving the infrastructure. It's a very old water system. I think originally was the Truxton Water Company. And so, yeah, it has changed hands. They are trying to update it. I think there's a lot of pretty dated infrastructure out there. The Arizona Corporation Commission is who regulates those utility companies, or the Arizona Department of Water Resources or Environmental Quality. I think largely if they're looking to try and find out who regulates them, that would be the Arizona Corporation Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Oh. Okay, item 11, commissioners' comments. Yes, ma'am.
If we're receiving communication with basically anonymous, no name, address, or not receive it?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Martin, I guess if you're receiving communication via like email, is that what you're saying, or?
The emails with, like Golden Valley people on, that we received on the link,
Correspondence.
Yeah.
correspondence.
Letters of objection and stuff like that, is that what you're
Right,
talking about?
if they're not signed and they're just anonymous, they're not named, I don't see any point of passing it on. I mean, they're anonymous.
Mr. Chair, Supervisor, Commissioner Martin, I'll give my 2 cents on it, but then I'll leave it to the attorney if he has any other additional comments. But I would recommend that we include any and all comments that we do receive. I don't think it hurts us to have them included in the packets to review. If somebody wants to have a comment on a project, but they don't want to put their name on it, so be it. They can submit that. Maybe it would have more value if they had their name or address and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I would stay away from excluding any comments that we receive. I would recommend that we continue to receive any and all comments.
You should have to show your face.
I got one other.
But did you have input on that?
Commissioners, I agree. I think, again, you're an informative board, so you can weigh it like anything, right? If you don't know who this is from, you have doubts about it, you can use that, we'll say for or against somebody, but you weigh it appropriately.
Sir.
You know, with the growth and all that stuff in Golden Valley, has the county ever thought about maybe building a sewage treatment plant out there to supply sewage treatment for anybody that wants to hook up, and then they could collect funds from each and every house to pay for it? Or bond it out or something? I mean, I know it's probably something that we should be asking the supervisors, but maybe you can get that message to them.
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Kirkham, I don't believe the county has the ability right now we don't have any sewer treatment facilities. We don't maintain any utilities except for we have some improvement districts for water that have been established by the residences. One is in Golden Valley. They have a water district there. But as far as having the funds and ability to go and just build a treatment facility, I don't think that the county wouldn't be in that place or ability.
Well, it's that or have a million septic systems out there, which go look at Birdland and several other places. That's why Kingman built their own plant. They bonded it out. They didn't pay for it. They got a bond for it, and then they were paying for it with revenue from each individual household for sewage fees. I mean, eventually Golden Valley is going to have something where this reg tag is not going to work.
Yeah, and it's usually something you'd see with a city. Being the county, I mean, and especially in Golden Valley, the houses are pretty far apart to be able to require that. We do require it of new subdivisions that are coming in, so that's a requirement that we place on a new subdivision that would be coming in with higher density. But with the current infrastructure that's out there or the housing that's out there, I don't think it would be something that the county would be able to entertain or maintain based on the densities that are currently out there. And again, like I said, that's something that you see typically when you have a city. So if Golden Valley ends up incorporating and they start getting more dense, I could see them going that route. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That answered my question. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to know, have we received any requests for a zoning change for windmills? I know that none have reached the commission since I've been on it, but I'm just wondering if anybody is any of those in the works?
Talking the big ones,
Yeah,
not
the
the
great
little
big giant
water pumpers.
ones, yes.
Chairman Hess, Commissioner Gillette, none that I'm aware of on private property, so none that would have come in for rezones. I know there's kind of a long process as you go through BLM to do that. You start with kind of the testing towers that they'll put out there to measure wind speeds, and then they go through the process of getting a plant approved and building it. And then, so I know there's a couple areas in kind of as you're going towards Vegas and also in the kind of the Mojave Valley area where people are looking at it with the Bureau of Land Management on those public lands. But those aren't required to go through a rezone process. So those would likely never come across this commission.
I have another question. Along the same line, evidently President Trump does not like the windmills, and it sounds to me like there's going to be some kind of a rule or law or something passed to eliminate them. Would we abide by that?
Chairman Hazard, Commissioner Gillette, I suppose it would depend on whatever rule is passed and how that regulates states and counties and things like that. We'd have to look at that as it comes in and adjust accordingly. I think most of the windmills that are within the county are currently on public property or publicly owned lands, the BLM land. And so I don't know that there's a whole lot. We don't currently regulate them anyway on BLM land. So there may not be any changes that we would need to make to any of the existing ones that are out
It
there.
would be primarily for the BLM, and that's federal. Okay, thank you very much.
One last.
Yes, sir.
Potentially, just to address Commissioner Kirkham's discussion about a sewer treatment option in Golden Valley. 1 acre lots cannot sustain a sewer treatment plant, regardless of the size. It just, the density is not there, the effluent isn't there. Septic is truly the only way until you get to a significant higher density. And that's my discussion about, my position where smart development is useful, because it does create the ability to build facilities to that end.
What about low pressure sewer?
It's certainly, I've done that before, and I think it's actually a viable solution. You still have to go 150 feet per lot, which becomes problematic in cost. So that's if you have a 1 acre development, not if you're at 5 and 10 acres.
If you're on municipal water, it's essentially just double cost.
And then you have to have municipal water also, or it becomes problematic. So, one last comment. I have to apologize. I will not be able to attend next week's meeting.
That's convenient.
It is convenient. It is convenient. I have a professional development conference, but otherwise I would be here.
Well, okay. We'll send you pictures and stuff.
Thank you.
All right. No other commissioners' comments or questions for staff? I'd like to, meeting adjourned. What? Oh, whew. Sorry, everyone. Meeting is not adjourned. Call to the public. Mr. Works, please.
I hadn't planned to comment on it, but brought up the sewage systems. My nephew lives on John L. Street in the Butler area. Those are pretty small lots. They're no larger than 50 by 100. They have their own septic systems on each lot. It's hard to imagine having a lot any smaller than that with their own septic system on it. It's hard to imagine that it even exists there in that area right now. He's backed up against that flood control channel that's right behind his house. But Nick Hunt said that they percolate up. They don't percolate down, which seems odd to me. It seems like you put water in the ground, some of it's going to go down. But Nick Hunt said it percolates up. So what's happening to all that material that comes out of those leach lines? Thank you.
I think as long as they're not backing up in the toilet, we don't have to worry about that. Call to the public is, I'm assuming, over. With that being said, now I am adjourning the meeting. Have a wonderful day.